Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session. Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today, I've got a new mate on here with me. We've been having a laugh already. I'm really enjoying your energy, so I'm going to welcome you straight aboard, Philippa Steel.
Hello.
Yeah. It's carnage on this bus when I edit it because I put a crowd noise in, confetti. It looks brilliant. So
I should have done more.
Bubbles.
Yeah, all of it. Put all of it on.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
The reason I got in touch with you is because of Dean Jackson.
Yes.
And that was BBC introducing. And I was, eagerly waiting to listen to me sen.
Yes, weren't you? Because your track was after mine, was it? Or was it just before?
Oh, maybe I was before.
I think you were just before, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was before. And then I started cooking dinner and getting everything ready for the fam.
Celebrating.
And you came on, and it was just really beautiful.
Oh.
One of those moments where it went from background to, I need to listen to this.
Oh, wow.
See what's cracking off.
Thank you.
Yeah, really talented. Oh. Music, always been a part of your soul?
Yes, definitely.
The biggest part of your soul, or?
I think the integral part of my soul.
Oh, nice.
I know. Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it sounds really cheesy, but it's such a massive part of my identity. My mum always tells me, oh, you were singing in your cot before you were speaking properly, which is nice. Apparently they went on holiday camping or something and the people next door to them were like, oh, we can hear your baby singing away in a little thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Do you know what you were sort of trying to sing? Was your mum and dad singers or anything? So you were imitating what they were doing?
Maybe. They both love music. And yeah, mum sings around the house all the time, so maybe I was just...
Bit of Frank Sinatra?
Oh, no, more like the Beautiful South, that kind of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite big influences in your life, mum and dad?
Yeah, definitely.
In all aspects of who you are, or just more the musical side of your nature?
I think all aspects, yeah. Yeah, quite a close family, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and in your days, you say music's a massive part, the integral part of your soul. Do you listen to that mainly, or are you listening to other things?
So, I go through phases, and I don't know, I go through times where I'm like, all I can listen to is talking. So I was saying to you earlier about being obsessed with podcasts.
So you've never been on one though?
No.
First
so
one.
exciting.
Yes.
Dream come true.
But you listen to a lot then?
Yeah, and I just love going for a walk or going for a jog or something and just having a podcast on, and I don't know, I find it really comforting. But then on the other side, then I'll be obsessed with listening to music, or just I'm very quite sensitive in my mood though, so if there's a song on that I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, it takes me quite a while to find what I want to listen to.
Get quite selective in that. I've not really thought about that before, but I am so similar with conversations and podcasts.
Yeah,
I can quite easily accept, I'll just click to one.
Yeah,
I'm fine, I'll settle in, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But with music, I get really irritable.
Yeah.
If I've picked the wrong one and I'm trying to do a workout.
Yeah. Oh, it's not.
I'll have to stop, and I get frustrated. I'm like, no, it's not The Streets I need now. No, it's not Lion King.
Yeah. Oh, so I did, this is an extreme example, but I did a marathon and I had picked what I thought I wanted to listen to in the last mile or something, and it came on and I was like, no, absolutely
You're
not.
You're already in the height of exhaustion.
I was so just awful, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling good. This is not what I want at all. And it's just annoying, isn't it? It's really distracting when it's not the right thing.
That's beautiful. Did you start off with podcasts with the marathon?
No, and I wish I had. I wish I'd known they were a thing when I did it. I think it just would have really helped me, because it's boring, isn't it, when you're doing a long walk or something, like a big workout, and sometimes you need the adrenaline or a passionate thing to push you, but that can't last for hours and hours. So yeah, I wish I'd thought about this.
What do you tend to listen to then, podcast wise? Let's go down first.
So what hooked me in was Brene Brown.
Oh, she's great. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, so I listened to both of those, and then because of who she had on the show, I then started listening to various different people and like also their audiobooks as well.
Did she go on a Russell Brand podcast? I believe.
I think she did. I haven't listened to that though.
That was where I reckon, because I think I'd seen a TED Talk as well.
Yes.
So it went from Russell Brand to her TED Talk to let's go and find out what she's about.
Yeah. Oh, I love her stuff. Yeah.
What's her sort of main conversational point?
She's, oh my God, get it right.
Yeah.
If she ever watches it, she'll be like, no. So she's a vulnerability and shame researcher, kind of emotions researcher, and a lot of her work, that's like the central theme, but there's loads of branches that she kind of delves into. But on her podcast, one of them's called Unlocking Us and the other one's called Dare to Lead, which I think is primarily like the focus was to be like leadership and professional, which often crosses over into personal life, doesn't it? But I find just both of them, firstly, really therapeutic and calming to listen to, because they kind of talk about those things that you're like, oh, I kind of feel like that, and they talk about it, and then you're like, oh, that's what that is, and put names to things, and I just find it really helpful for like sorting out my brain. And then I've just found them really useful for like learning about myself. It sounds really like, oh, my spiritual journey, but I do think that's helped me a lot, certainly with my creative stuff, just getting to know myself better and understanding emotions and stuff. So, yeah.
Were you always somebody that was a thinker?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And spent a lot of time in your head?
Yeah, and it's really funny you say that. So my sister's kind of mother-in-law, I hadn't met her at all, and Jen had showed me a picture of her or something, and she said, oh, she's a deep thinker.
Really?
Yeah. And Jen was like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, no, she's right. Have I got that look of just like vacant?
So how that's funny. How old were you when you discovered podcasts then?
Oh, this is really recent. Like start of the pandemic, because I was walking and I was like, I need something to just, I can't be bothered with music right now. I don't want to listen to the radio because they're talking about COVID.
Yeah.
So it was not that long ago. What? 2 years? No. Yeah, 2 years
Probably
ago.
about 2 years now. Yeah, time's lost all meaning now, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Before lockdown, I don't know what that even means.
No.
That's interesting, because if you've always been sort of quite a deep thinker, and spent a lot of time in your head, but didn't have maybe podcasts as a solace or anything like that, did you feel quite lost, always thinking and then believing, maybe I'm the only one that thinks like this? And then when you listen to podcasts and go, oh, these are really natural, normal emotions and feelings, and you gain that understanding other people go through this, that's helped you through that. But prior podcast then, did you feel a bit lost?
I don't know about lost, but definitely like alone in that sense.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, when you just kind of react to things in a certain way and you think, oh, that's just me, that's just my personality. But then when you hear other people talking about something and you're like, oh, actually, that's how I feel, that's what I do. And you're like, oh, it's just, that's, like you said, other people go through that or have that response and stuff. But yeah, I used to listen to, this is why I wonder if it's a comfort thing as well. Like when we were really young, when we were going to sleep, if we couldn't sleep, we'd have story tapes on.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I think people just talking in the background, it just puts me at ease.
Comforting's really nice. I felt similarly, again, as a kid.
Yeah.
Didn't like the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, again, psychoanalyse that. There's something more there.
Yeah.
But I would always have film on. And that was my blanket.
Yeah.
But now, being self-employed, a big majority of my day spent on my own, in my own being and doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So having somebody there in the background with me, that's why I particularly like long format ones, and why I film long format ones is because you can keep sort of dipping in and out of the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just as if I've got a friend there with me for the day.
Yeah, no, that is what it's like.
This is why don't harm Joe Rogan, because that's what I listen to.
Oh no! But
Leave him alone, everyone.
I like I do that, like I dip in and out. You're not necessarily hanging off every word they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a little friend just walking along with you, or like you're cleaning the shower or something. It's the most boring thing on earth.
That's a good thing.
And yeah, it's just somebody there, isn't it?
It's helped me discover who I am as a person, though, because I get to be reflective, and maybe at times when I was a bit younger, I'd believe everything they said.
Yeah.
But then when you mix up podcasts and people and personalities, and then you go back to some, and you've lived life a little bit as well and made a lot of mistakes, then you can be reflective of, do I agree with that? How does that feel to me? What's that saying to my gut? Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing of them. They're
Definitely.
so nuanced and so explorative.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that part of it.
Yeah.
But I can get that in music too. I can definitely try and think about what journey that artist is on and how they're telling it and how that sort of fits into my life. But hearing it in a long form, I'm getting a little bit more depth with it. Conversation.
I agree. You settle into it a bit more.
Yeah, that's a great word.
Yeah, because I've heard, well, there have been some podcasts where I've thought, oh, that sounds amazing, that's right up my street, but it'll be like 15-20 minutes long. And I'm like, no, I need 1 hour plus.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I like the deep dives.
So if you were to say, do you know what, I like this podcasting, this game, this might be for me.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of how you'd set your podcast up and how you'd want to talk and what about and content?
I don't know. I'm not trying to suck up, but I really like what you've done.
Oh, that's really sweet. I'll take that.
Because I don't know, like, it's very comforting, it's warming, it feels like really friendly, like I listened to a few episodes before coming today, did my homework. And I don't know, I just think any podcast that makes people feel like at home and they can be themselves and just chatting about normal stuff, I think is really important. Just normal, relatable people that, I don't know, if they're inspiring in some way. And I think being normal and honest about it is really inspiring.
That is inspiring. And the truths behind it. Yeah. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows.
No, exactly.
Yeah, you want to pluck from that knowledge, don't you?
There's sorry.
No, you go. I like it.
I can't remember what it's called now. I think I came across it because Brene Brown was talking about it. But there's a whole podcast that's about really successful like entrepreneur people, and it's about their biggest failures.
Oh, really? Oh, I'd like that.
Yeah,
I'd like that a lot.
I'll find it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really interesting. And they talk about it and how they got over it and what they did, and it's really just, you see them in a different way, and it makes you realise like
they're human,
and it wasn't all like roses and stuff. It's really interesting.
It's what I like about some of my favourite artists.
Yeah.
That even to leave all their old content out, like one of my favourite spoken word artists would have been sort of Scroobius Pip in the day. If you've ever heard of Scroobius Pip, he's got a podcast out you'd quite like. Again, everything you just described then is his. But he left all his old material there.
Yeah.
And some of it, I went back to the old stuff, so he must be in his later 30s now. Sorry if you're listening to this and you're definitely like still 20-something. Oh, no. You just look dead old. But no, he's definitely in his later 30s. And I must have gone so far back in his YouTube archive to the first stuff, so early 18, 19. And it was a bit rubbish, really, some of this stuff, but that was the beauty. Yeah. I'd learnt from that. I felt like that was achievable.
Yeah.
And because he kept all his honest stuff there and just didn't go back through everything, delete, and I just saw this really polished, beautiful version of him.
Yeah.
But I saw the whole journey.
Yeah.
It made me feel, oh, do you know what? I could do that. I've definitely feel I've got that about me. And to hear people that are inspiring, or this article that you aim towards, to get them anecdotal stories about making mistakes, or look at this piece of art that wasn't very good, but I built from it. I think that's so important, and just hearing people's genuine truths rather than this nice cleaned up truth that I'm trying to portray.
And I think the other thing I love as well is when people are like, oh, this is, if it's an artist or something like a painter, they're like, this is a painting I did, it's so rubbish, I hate it, I'll never show it. And you're like, that's amazing. That also gives me, I don't know, a bit of comfort, because you know when you're doing your own stuff and you're like, that is absolute trash, I can never show that. It's interesting that other people think that about stuff that you think is amazing, and it just shows art is so subjective that you don't have to be so hard on yourself, maybe.
Finding yourself and being authentic is a beautiful word. With the authenticity, when I met you, you brought that vibe to the bus.
Oh,
You just brought a nice person energy.
Oh, thank you.
And talking to you, I think you can get it quite quickly when you go, oh, this person's agenda is just be nice.
Yeah.
I like what I like. Here is me. Have you had to discover that through time, or has that always been sort of given to you?
I think I've always... I used to be really quite shy, but I don't know if that was just like, you know, you go through the teenage years and it's all like tricky. I think I used to feel quite nervous about, oh no, what if people... worried about what people think. Whereas now I'm just like... I'm over that.
Yeah.
I'm
What a hurdle.
Yeah, and I just think, well, this is who I am, so I know I'm not a bad person. That's just... Then
it's sort of the process of elimination then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if they're not going to get on board with it, brilliant.
Yeah.
That really is dues to you.
Yeah.
I think as two artists, or we like to create music, it might be one of the biggest pitfalls in people that I meet that want to appease everybody and make everyone like them. Have you met that on the way as well?
For me or other people?
When I'm having these conversations in podcasts, one of the biggest hurdles that I find artists have to overcome at some point is that sense of not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
And I was just going to ask you how you got to the stage you got to where you felt, I don't care anymore, I was just going to do this.
I think because I felt that to the extreme of feeling like people might not like it, people might not like me, or I'm not what people are expecting, or all those kinds of things were just the whole overarching theme is worrying what people think. And then the effect of that is then not doing what you want to do or create what you want to create, be who you are. That is so much more painful than than if someone just didn't like it. And because I think because I spent so long being like, oh, there's too much risk of like putting something out there, and if people don't like it, it's going to be so damaging to me. But actually, the effect of not doing what you think you're put on this earth to do, or like why. Or like following, I don't know, just your dreams and aspirations, it's just so stifling, and in the long run I think is just way more painful than someone saying, oh, that's not really my cup of tea.
So do you feel you have found your why?
I think so. I think I find my why either when I'm out performing, or I'm just jamming at home, or I love being in the studio because it's like a free pass to just really self-indulge and just make your own music. Got the headphones on, can't hear anybody else. I think in those moments that's where I find the why.
Me looking at you doing your why, which would be music.
Yeah.
I feel when I've seen you at your most authentic, is on the piano. You do funny music as well, don't you? Some of it comical.
Oh,
I've seen
those, yeah.
I've seen some of them videos, but I thought you look like you're having a really good time right there.
I was, yeah.
That's when I really enjoy seeing somebody in their element.
Okay.
And they're like, I'm good at this, I'm going to turn it into something humorous, and I'm going to go. But have you got any moments then when you maybe perform live or been at an event and you thought, have you seen that film Soul?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what?
Good,
That taught me a lot.
Yeah,
that film.
it. I was like, oh. So I've been doing this game of life not very well.
Oh,
then.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, even him as a jazz player,
Yeah.
he missed a lot of stuff through that. But
Yeah.
have you had any beautiful gigs where you were like, I am in the moment here. This
Yes.
is genuinely what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
yes. Can I say two things?
Please do.
So the first one, very recently, in November, I did this super amazing event, which I literally can't even believe happened. But so my first song, "Hear Me Out," basically my day job is I work for De Montfort University, and then I sent that track around a few colleagues, and I was like, that was bold for me. Like, see what you think. Absolutely was ready to delete any reply email that came back. But my manager was really, really supportive, and like I'm really, really grateful to him for just being so supportive and encouraging. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to work with one of our partner musicians, like who's an incredible like top violinist for the Philharmonia Orchestra?" And he could do like a string arrangement or something. And I was like, yeah, of course, which was amazing. So Adrian Varela is the violinist. He did this incredible, beautiful string arrangement for a small, well, actually kind of medium-sized string ensemble. There was about 9 of them. And I don't know how he did it, but we just basically had a chat about the song. He'd obviously heard it, agreed to do it, and I was like, wow, thanks. And he just managed to create something I could have never have heard in my head, but it was exactly what I wanted, and it was exactly what the piece needed to just lift it. And then we performed it as part of this event. So I did a talk about the song and like what I'd done to get to that point, and kind of rediscovering identity in yourself as an artist. And then we performed the piece live. So I was on like a little baby grand piano. Then there was the string orchestra, and it was in a church. It just sounded amazing.
Wow.
And we had some incredible string players. Obviously Adrian was like conducting it, and oh, getting lost again in the moment. It was
getting like shivers then.
It was really
build me up.
Yeah, and because that song is about giving yourself a chance, and that was the first one I'd written really since like a long time, and that was that was a moment where I was like, maybe I could be that person that I wanted to be.
Oh,
yeah,
that reminded me of that song "This Is Me."
Oh, have you seen that video of them like pitching it?
That's what I was gonna get to, because I'm gonna say a controversial thing. Yeah,
go on.
I didn't vibe the film.
Fair, it's
hugely.
It's a fair comment.
The kids that are going to go to schools absolutely love it. Come and sing bits to me and talk about stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's good, wasn't it? but that moment where they're pitching it and before, you can't not get emotional towards that. That's pure, really pure.
It's amazing.
So that's what I was, honestly, while you were explaining everything you went through in that performance, that's what was in my head as a reference point.
Maybe
Was it that good? yeah.
Oh, I love that video so much. Have you seen the one they do from now on as well?
Probably. I think I have. My friend, my colleague as well, came over for a night, and we're just playing all them different videos to me. Yeah.
We were doing that. It was in lockdown. Me, Tom, and my friend Becky. We were in a little bubble, and we just were watching videos, like singing along so loud.
Oh wow!
It was.
It was because I told him that I didn't like the film.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't rest on it. He's like, no, come on. So he'd show me all the background bits.
Yeah.
And the two guys that produced a lot of the music. And it was a documentary they filmed of it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he did captivate me. I was like, oh, maybe I do like this film.
Yes, you do.
You've caught me.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk then, because you go on stages then.
Yeah.
You've had these fantastic moments.
Yeah. But
you said you were quite a shy kid. I mean, if that's how you felt, that's just who you were. And shy, I have this feeling towards people that are like, come on, don't be shy to kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's who they are.
Yeah.
Why do we have to keep telling kids you're too much of this or you're not enough of this? Let them just be who they are. But then I suppose it's when it hinders your life, where you could be doing something you want to do, but you won't get yourself in them positions because you do feel you don't belong on that stage, or you just can't bear being on a stage and people looking at you.
Yeah.
Did you have to overcome some hurdles then for yourself? Not because people were telling you, don't be shy, I don't like that, but for yourself you were thinking, I need to not be this shy because I want to be able to perform. That makes sense as a question.
Yeah, definitely. I have so many thoughts while you were talking just then. Because
why podcasts are great.
I know. I'm going to be here for like hours.
Please.
So I was really shy, particularly at school. Not with my like close friends, but for example, I'd never put my hand up in class because that was just absolutely not. But I always wanted to be that person that could. So it's not that I was so shy I just didn't want to do it. It was just that I wanted to do it, but I couldn't because I was shy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it completely does.
But I think with music, because I loved it so much, and I would like sing always at home. Like if my parents went out, my sister was out, that's what I'd be doing. I'd wait until they went to Tesco or something, and I'd be like, yes, this is my time.
Yeah.
Going around the kitchen, like doing it all. And there were a few things at school where I remember seeing people doing like plays and stuff, and they'd have to do like a solo song in it. And I was just sitting there absolutely dying because I so wanted to do that.
Right, okay.
And I was so painfully jealous, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I could do that, but I can't. There's like a horrible invisible barrier which won't even let me try doing it. And then because I never spoke, my parents didn't really know I wanted to sing and stuff. Like I'd played piano from when I was quite young, 8, so they knew I was musical. But I think it was like year 10 or something, and the opportunity came.
Okay.
Where we were in GCSE music, and they were like, okay, everyone's got to do a performance, and it was an ensemble thing, and I was like, oh, we could do you remember when Leona Lewis covered Run?
Yes. How'd you forget something like that?
Absolutely. And I was playing the piano, and then my classmates were singing, and then I got to do like, you know, the bit in the middle where she like ad-libs. I don't know how well you know the song.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah. And I got to do that bit, and I don't know, I think everyone was like, wow, we didn't know you could do that. It wasn't because they were like, oh my God, you're saying, it was just like, we didn't know that you
was it a wow moment for everyone in that moment?
I think so.
Yeah.
Again, not like blowing my trumpet, but I remember like teachers would say, oh, I didn't know you sang, and I was like, yeah, it's like actually a really important part of my life, but I don't tell anyone. And then it's I don't know if I've answered the question.
No, you did it literally perfectly. And again, I get why I'm enjoying this conversation, because I had so many different avenues I wanted to explore down with that. But to psychoanalyze, do you know, I suppose just as a kid, we're trying to build our identity. We don't know who we are.
Yeah.
And you get labelled, don't you, by other people.
Yeah.
They put, oh, that's a shy kid, that's a this, that's a that.
Yeah.
And inside, we've just got an array of, am I an extrovert? Am I an introvert? Do I want to be the performer? Do I just want to sit back?
Yeah.
It's just we don't know. So I go into education a lot, and I'm not a fan of the system, to be honest. I think it could be bettered. And really helping kids understand themselves and fine-tune who they are first and build that identity.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be, rather than what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And this sort of just retaining information. And I really didn't fit that system. I was very naughty.
Oh no.
Big loud mouth, but just didn't understand my position. And we were quite polar.
Yeah.
But both of us could have been sort of better understood in our positionings in that classroom. And that for it to get to year 10 and a teacher to not know what your inner workings are, the things that are really important to you, I'd feel a little bit let down by the system there, because they should already know somehow how to fetch those bits about them kids. Who are you? What do you want to do? And how can we help in that discovery?
Yeah.
Do you know? And it might have just come out a little bit sooner on.
That's interesting you say that, actually, because I wish, I don't know, maybe I have thought that before, but I couldn't say, oh, I wish this person had done this. But I know what you mean about...
So it's just a nuanced thought that I've had, where I wonder if you could have had that grown from you at a younger time, and then been put into different positions. And I'm thinking of you had a very lucky moment, in essence, or a teacher brought it in. What about the amount of people that gone out of school and still didn't learn about them identity and self, and never had that opportunity given to them to
they didn't even know
and didn't know. So I just think they're interesting breeding grounds, aren't they?
It's a really interesting thought. I do agree that's so interesting, and I'm sure there are so many people like this that will have gone through school not really tapping into actually.
It's like you had a fire burning inside of you at a young age, and a lot of opportunities. And brilliant that it did eventually come out. But you really could have been utilising that in so many other avenues, and grown you a bit more confident sooner on. But not pushing you into the fire and being like, be confident. But it's something you wanted for yourself.
I agree with you about people just saying, oh, just be confident, be loud. I think someone said that to me once, be loud. I'm like, no. How it's like when someone says to you, you're so quiet. Well, that's not going to make me speak, is it?
No. But have you any advice then? Because I have, on Monday nights, loads of different kids come here, and we do workshops. We have either rappers, singers, we've had hula hoopers, lots of different bits. And from 11 to 14, I just try and bring a new skill that they would have never imagined before, but often from somebody that's doing it as a career. So they have a bit more belief, because I've worked in city schools and I've worked out in the stick schools. And the thing with city kids, they seem to have thirst, just a lot of it, and ambition, but maybe in the wrong places. It could be like selling drugs or something. That's a vision. I've been to schools in London, and they thought, oh, it doesn't matter, sir, because I'm going to do this anyway. And they've got loads of fingers in pies. It's just trying to help find them, build it into what's going to be most optimal for them. But then with the kids in the sticks, you find there's just a real lack of ambition. They've got no belief in other than, oh, my dad did this job, so maybe I can do this thing. And there's just no thought outside the box. So we have these workshops here and try and just bring as much random awesomeness as we can. But I'm fairly well catered for the loud ones, excitable, misplaced energy. I'm good with that. But for the ones that are there and I could help in terms of giving them a space to bring out confidence in, I don't know how to do that with being balanced with it. So do you have any advice on how adults could have helped you a little bit more in your pursuit?
Such a good question. I think my first thought when you said it was the thing I absolutely hated is kind of anyone openly calling it out.
Yeah, of course.
Which I don't think you'd ever do. But, you know, that awful moment where, like, the group leader or teacher thinks they're being absolutely hilarious and they are, like, joking with you, but you just cannot handle it because suddenly everyone's looking at you. It's just... I always wanted to avoid any kind of situation where I stood out or attention was drawn, but at the same time I don't think that helped me, because why was I telling myself don't be seen, don't be heard, don't be anything? Why was I trying to fade into the background?
And that's what a lot of adults then allow, is for the fade into happen. It's, they don't enjoy that, so I don't know how to approach it.
Yeah, and I just think I missed out on so many things because I was so more afraid of what people were going to say or think, or just people looking at me. Like, you know that when they first brought in those interactive whiteboards,
yeah,
and everyone would be like, "Can I write on the board? Can I write on the board?" And I really wanted to write on the board, but I just could not face it, drawing attention to myself, so I wouldn't. But I still wanted to really do it. But then the teacher would never ask me because I never put my hand up to do it. So I think it's what you said about getting to know people where you can individually. And I also think it's who's in the room with them. Because some, I don't know.
Being selective in the moment.
Yeah. And I think giving, it's a really tough question. I think giving them a platform perhaps where they feel a bit more in control of how they can come across.
Yeah.
I do think small, gentle nudges are
Good shout, yeah.
Because you've got to build up resilience somehow.
Giving them armbands and putting them in the shallow end and letting them build from there, not just diving in. I think, I can reflect on an experience I had, because I was the naughty kid at school, but then I was just misunderstood, really. If I could have felt a bit of love somewhere, I was just playing up from stuff that I wasn't getting in certain places.
Yeah.
But I was also labelled so many things: ADHD, dyspraxic, and the big one was always dyslexic for me.
Yeah.
So being dyslexic, and I had this really militant, he was literally from the Marines, so
wow, okay.
hardcore historian teacher.
Yeah.
But I remember this one time where, do you know, you always have to do that reading in class. And it's just you.
Right, your
it's
turn.
a ridiculous thing.
And it's coming round and you're like, I'm trying to clear your throat.
So aggressive. Get up in front of everybody and show them how well you can read. And
why did we have to do that?
It was just odd, and schools I've seen still do it to this day. So it's a very odd attitude. But again, I've heard a teacher talk of this in a different manner, because for me, the historian guy, Mikey, get up, right, and left me with it for ages. And I was trying to read and I couldn't. Everyone's laughing at me, and then I get angry, throw it, go in, kick off, punch things. He's just given me an awful experience, and then I'm labelled by that, and it's turned on to me as the bad one.
Yeah.
And I was just really fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
But one teacher I spoke to, what he used to do is get the kids to all bring in their favourite books or something, even if it was an article, but it was about rugby or music or boxing or whatever you loved.
Yeah.
And then because it meant something to you,
yeah.
and then he'd prep them. And if it's the shyest person in the class, a day or even a lesson before, he says, I'll get to learn about you today. You're going to tell us a little bit about your thing.
Yeah.
And then because they know it, they're actually understood about it. They know the nature of what they're speaking and they're proud of it.
Yeah.
Then bosh, they can read it. And and you can find ways of presenting it. And I just think, sometimes all it is a concept that we've got that's not working.
Yeah.
Just takes a few variations and tweaks.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've got a really good idea.
Yeah. I really like that he said, "Oh, we get to learn about you."
Yeah.
I think that makes all the difference.
And not just, oh, it's your turn today.
Yeah.
Like Doomsday's here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we get to learn who you are today and what you're about. And
Yeah.
maybe their moment has really been waiting for being understood.
Yeah. And that just makes such a difference in my head because, we had to do stuff. I remember the first time we had to do a presentation on our own in front of the whole class. And, for me, weeks before, not sleeping.
Really?
Planning how I'm going to be ill on that day. Yeah. But then if you didn't come in on that day, you'd have to do it the day after. And it's like, I think I've had to just change the way I was thinking about it. Like, we get to learn what you think about that. Rather than thinking I have to say certain things to live up to what everyone else thinks or tick the boxes or I don't know.
It's just a really tricky job, isn't it? When we've got into education conversation, spoken word to the day I die, I do understand for teachers how tricky it is. You're in front of however many a day with all different abilities, all different ticks, all different quirks and parts of them.
Yeah.
And then you've got these really quiet ones and these really wild ones. And all of them in that class need a completely different life lesson handed to them. Even the really loud, crazy ones just need to learn about when is the time to observe, be respectful, quieten, be a listener.
Yeah.
And how do you build that into them where these ones, okay, you don't want to shove them into that feminist, but we need to find approaches of how we can help them if that's what they do want as well. But yeah, I love this part of the conversation because it's something that I really enjoy doing. I like working with young people.
Yeah.
And knowing how lost, confused my youth was, and me discovering poetry and my passion so late on, all because I'd lost somebody, a friend, and I would have never discovered it. And again, I was really good at writing, but I was always told, I eventually just didn't let me go to English classes because I didn't know how to spell, didn't know how to write, and they just cut me off as stupid. So I'd play up in that class because I thought I definitely don't belong here. Whereas my story was bursting to come out. I wanted to speak, I had things to say, I was imaginative and creative.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't found. The seed wasn't in their eyes there.
Yeah.
And it was always waiting to be watered. But unfortunately for me, it was 21. And the water got poured on like the ocean because it come from a place of absolute pain and real terror and all this, and it all came at once. But I'm guessing there's a lot of people that never found that purpose or passion or anything because the system, again, is a lot of box ticking and so on, and it's not about individualizing it to them experiences and helping them find what they need for their why.
I'll have to. So my mum and my sister are both teachers. Mum not so much anymore. Yeah. And I'd be interested to know what they would say.
Yeah, I think we'd have, because I go into lots of schools and speak to the teachers. Yeah. And really the conversations we have are fantastic, and it's never of attacking teachers. Yeah. A lot going for the perfect reason of I love children, I love my passion, I wanted to educate that. Yeah. But then, systems, and then having to get the right scores and the right this. And a lot of teachers, my partner's a teacher, just feel drained from it in the end. Gosh. And the passion part becomes so far down the table that you don't really have any leeway on being an individual and creative. Yeah. You can tell I'm passionate on my sister, but
also can I just say a massive shout out to teachers. Because and people like you working with children and schools and things.
It's a tricky job.
It's so hard. I used to work for, do you know Nottingham Music Service?
I don't. So
music provision in schools, whole class ensemble, that kind of thing. And I just shout out to all the teachers out there, because it's such a all-consuming job. I think it's an amazing profession.
That's how we got there, really, because I was thinking of you and how you are as an artist, and you love it so much. I clearly feel that in you, and I was interested in that journey of how sounds close you were to never find it or expressing that. So good on that teacher as well, that sort of made it a moment for you, and it started to sort of spill from there.
Yeah.
So then it spilled over.
Yes.
And this is odd then now, because you are confident. I'm talking to you and I'm really enjoying it.
I am now, I think.
What happened?
I think it was a slow, like, just descent. I think that sounds really tragic, sorry. But I think it's very easy once you start going down the train of thought of perfectionist thinking, particularly I think because my background with classical piano, which I absolutely love, and I loved all my lessons with Mr. Horton.
Nice.
Amazing jazz pianist, look him up.
Okay, I will.
I absolutely loved that. And then I did all the grades and stuff. And it just suddenly became more about creating the perfect thing in the perfect moment and just being afraid to like fail. I did music at university, and I did piano performance, and those recitals should have been like my best day ever, because I'd spent a year learning those pieces, which I loved. Like, I loved all the repertoire I did, apart from one Beethoven sonata, but we'll just move on. They should have been an amazing day, but some of the worst days, because I had just felt so stressed leading up to it and didn't manage that very well at all. And so suddenly my most important thing didn't feel successful anymore. And so that then became, it's painful to do this, so I'm not going to do it because I'm not getting the results that I want.
Satisfaction from it.
Yeah. And then one of the things that, like I was saying about the podcasts and stuff that I've learned, is because I wasn't doing it for myself, I was doing it for other people. In the sense of,
a good snippet of the podcast. I like this.
Little soundbite.
Yeah.
I was doing it not because I absolutely loved every sound I was making. I was doing it because I wanted to achieve that thing, or like that grade with it, or I should be this kind of performer or whatever, which I think is very easy to fall into the trap with classical music. For me, that's just my experience of it, because everything, in some ways, everything is really prescribed. Like, it's all, the music is all there. Yes, you have to interpret it, you have to put your meaning behind it, but when I was preparing for those recitals, it felt very much like I would do that, and then it would be like, no, because that's not really what the composer was intending. And I was like, right, how do you know? And I think that's when it sort of started to make me think, oh, maybe I'm not vibing with this. That's not the right word.
It sounds perfectly right.
Something wasn't.
If it doesn't feel right, it's not vibing.
It's not vibing. Whereas
the energy's
before,
not there.
I'd always felt like when I was learning repertoire, I was like, this is my jam, I get it. But suddenly I didn't get it anymore. I didn't understand it. And I think also because that had been my main focus, and it's going to university, I found it so hard to just do everything. I wanted to do everything, but I just couldn't. So I'd been focusing really hard on my classical playing and stuff, and then I wasn't doing my pop stuff, but I kind of was in my head like, oh, but I still do that, but I wasn't doing it. And then suddenly the classical stuff was just becoming stressful, and so I just kind of stepped away from it without even really realizing. And wasn't like, I got through all the recitals somehow, and it's really like, it pains me a lot to think about them, because the first one I did, I was happy with. We tended to do 2 a year. I was there for 3 years, and then just the others, they just weren't anything that I felt pleased with at all. And it just felt like a real uphill battle the whole time, because I was like, I know I can do it, but because of what I was presenting, I didn't feel that other people thought I could do it. And so just things started disconnecting. And then I didn't know what to do post-university. I still don't know what to do.
What was it you were doing at uni? Music tech?
Yeah.
Music tech or music?
It was music as like a BA, so kind of, it's in the School of Humanities, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you going there was the impression you were going to be a musician of some description.
Yeah.
That was what you were hoping to come out with.
I think so.
You've been and got this qualification, you've been on this journey, met loads of musicians.
Yeah.
And you felt, oh, this is going to set me up for getting places at theatres or different places.
I just thought, like, getting on a train, I'll just get on that and then I'll go somewhere, which is probably a really naive way of thinking.
It went a bit squee-whiff.
Yeah.
That's how you describe it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't feel good from that.
Yeah.
What age are you here in the timeline? 18,
so I finished
19?
I finished uni when I was 21.
Feeling fairly lost then.
Yeah.
And confused by the whole experience.
Yeah.
Not going the way you wanted.
Yeah.
Does that mean you spent a lot of time outside of music then?
Yeah. So
You're 29 now, that correct?
Yes.
29 now,
Yeah.
okay. So because there's a bit of a gap there then, isn't there?
Yes, a long gap. So I basically just kind of pretended that, it's, that's just not really what I do anymore, or I kind of told myself like, I still have that as my little special thing, but I'm not going to do anything with it, because if it gets harmed like it has been, I've lost everything. But I also think that's where my tendency to be like a black and white thinker or perfectionist and stuff didn't help me, because why did I think that it would just go away if something bad happened? And then because I was working in like a normal 9-to-5 job, was exhausted from just working. Just the daily grind.
I'm tired of feeling tired.
Yeah. But obviously having a 9-to-5 job like takes a lot of time, and I would always think to myself, right, when I get home I'm going to do a bit of practice. And I never would, or if I did, I would expect to be able to sit down at the piano and just play what I used to play to that level. And because I couldn't, then I was like, I can't do it anymore. What if it's just kind of gone? And then it was the same with singing. I was like, but I haven't really... I didn't even listen to music for ages. It's really weird. I wouldn't have anything on.
Went through the exact same thing when I stopped doing music for a while.
Isn't it really weird? I don't know
Probably
why.
a bit of envy towards the ones that did go and do it as a career.
Yeah, I think it is that.
Anyone of success, and you think, I could have done that.
Yeah, it's just too painful, isn't it? Especially, no, I'm not going to mention any names, but when you hear some stuff and you're like on the radio that would be number one, and you're like, okay.
What you doing there?
Yeah. Just because I know so many amazing people that I think deserve to be there, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, I just completely, it was this constant struggle of, I'm going to do it, I'm going to smash it later, and then I never would. And then it just became a bit, I think I felt quite a lot of shame from that. Yeah. Like if people asked me, sorry, it's getting really deep.
It's good. Honestly, these are the levels we need to explore.
If people asked me, what do you do? I'd never say I'm a musician. I would never say, I'm a pianist. I'd say, if they pushed it, I'd be like, oh yeah, I can play piano. I'd do a bit of singing, which is so unfair to myself, because that's what I am. That's what I'm about in life. Yeah. And then, I just kind of got so detached from it, and it started to eat away at me, I think, because I always had this horrible sense of something like I should be doing something else, which I couldn't put my finger on what that was. Like I'd always be looking for another job, and I thought, yes, that job will make me feel like I'm progressing in life, or like that's a career path for me.
I'm not worthless.
Yeah, but then when I think about how I felt coming back to music and doing it, that's why nothing ever fulfilled me, because this is what I should be doing. And everything else was just like numbing and running away from it.
Did you get quite depressed in that lull?
Yeah.
Were you have a really low sort of energy, different vibe?
I don't know low energy, but certainly I think my personality and like how I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the reason why I have a lot of anxiety now, because things just kind of got a bit muddy. And like with my family and friends and stuff, I just seem to be very stressed all the time, and like always thinking I should be doing something else or pushing myself really hard into the wrong things, I think, to run away from the fact that I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do.
I think that's a big factor. There's many factors for people feeling in a low space, a depressed way, but to not be pursuing what it is you're on this planet to do feels like a huge factor behind a lot of conversations I have with people.
Oh, really?
At the gym, I want to be that sort of chatty person, and particularly with men, we don't open up about our emotions, our feelings, how we're actually at. And maybe because I put it on a platform a lot and people know I'm quite a sensitive fella, I get particularly a lot of men coming to me and having conversations and saying sort of how they're feeling.
That's great.
And it feels nice.
Amazing,
a lot of energy a lot of the time sort of coming over. I'm thinking, I just want to chat about some daft for a minute now. It's always such a, like now, a beautiful nature. It's where my soul feels good when we're having deep and meaningful chats, but I miss a bit of trivia, so
yes,
you can get there. But when we are having these conversations, that feels like a big element is just not understanding their purpose on this world and what they're meant to be doing. It doesn't have to be your job either, but making sure it enters your day in some part is so important. And same for me. I like lots of different things, and just that's who I am. It's being sporadic and movement. But a big element of my life, I love boxing. I love gym and getting that aggression out. And if I've not had that in my day as a non-negotiable to do, I feel a different way. As soon as that starts mounting up and mounting up and mounting up, it becomes a real problem for me. So you just need to sort of have a bit of a list of who am I, what am I about, and then start like making sure in some way in that day a part of it's entered.
I've got the perfect podcast episode that you need to listen to. I'm like on the edge of my seat. So classic me, can't remember the name of the guy, but it's Brene Brown did an interview with him.
Awesome.
And his book is about habits. And I was like, okay. I was like, this isn't going to be something that, reaches out to me, but I'll listen to it because it's Brene. Life changing.
Really?
So he says, there's a great quote, but he's basically like, everything you do in your day casts a vote for the person that you want to be. So it's about like the little things mounting up, forming your identity. For example, if he talks about a whole range of different examples, but he's like, if you want to be a healthy person, or you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to gain weight, or whatever, he was like, instead of saying I have to be this person and thrash myself hell for leather, he's like, just say to yourself, okay, what qualities does that person have? So they obviously must eat quite well, they obviously must be active, they must be committed and dedicated. So he's like, right, they need to be committed and dedicated to the exercise. I'm just going to do 10 minutes every day, and that casts a vote to being that person. Or I'm just going to eat whatever, more vegetables and stuff. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. But it was so good what he was talking about. And it was also that thing of what do you need to do in your day to make you feel more like yourself, which what you're saying about the gym, like I definitely have to do something active like that.
Yeah.
And also really notice if I've not played piano and I haven't done it for a few days and the cats have left muddy paw prints on it. Even just doing a few minutes of that will really help me for the rest of the day. Like you said, just transforms your headspace.
It's just pushing yourself to that position as well, isn't it? Because I bet we all reflect on that moment you've got back from work, you are knackered.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just sit on the sofa, watch something, play a game, have done with, which maybe to a degree that's a part of what the character needs. But if I can have a knackering day, think, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to go to the gym, within 2 minutes, I'm not even exaggerating there, of punching the bag and doing some press-ups, I feel electric. Something's woken inside and I'm gone, this is just overcoming that feeling is so important. And just being true to yourself. And when I got really depressed at one stage and I couldn't get out of my bed at moments, but that building process of getting outside of it, they don't have to be massive, huge jumps. They're just small, quick steps up. Like today, I'm gonna clean myself, feel fresh, dress nice, groom myself a little bit, and just go for a minute walk with a podcast on, like maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Because in my head, I'm always that all or nothing guy, and it would be, I'm either going to be doing a marathon, going, I need to do the 26 miles or nothing.
Faster every time.
And it, consistency is key. And it doesn't really last out, does it, when you're absolutely hammering tongue in it?
Yeah, that's something he says. He's like, consistency is better than intensity.
So going back to your timeline then, did you start to implement these things to get back to the train and the track of who you are and what you want to be doing?
Yeah, so in lockdown, the first one, I'd been chatting to my sister about life because she lives in New Zealand, and it was so funny because
Go girl.
Whereabouts?
Just
Auckland, obviously. They all live there.
I did New Zealand.
Oh, did you?
Love it.
Where was your favourite place?
The south. I think so. Where is it? You often people go skiing there.
We did actually. We went to Queen's.
Wanaka, I think.
Oh,
like not been to
nice.
Wanaka.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to go.
Oh, yeah.
So she lives in New Zealand, and it was really funny because everything that was happening here was happening there, and it was like she was down the road because we were talking about the same stuff. And she was the other side of the world, but it felt really close. And we were talking about what we're going to do, and she was like, you're never going to get this time back again, because I was working from home. Obviously I was working, I'd just like to go but evenings, weekends, lunch break, you're just in the house, aren't you? And she was like, if there's something that you think you could do or you want to do, like, now's the time. And just something about it clearly stuck with me, and I just thought I'll just try like singing and playing. And I, like, even my partner Tom, I hadn't really done that in front of him. I'd done it a little bit, the odd time where I'm like, Tom, watch me sing.
Two cats and Tom as the
audience. Literally my audience, VIP screamings. But I don't think I'd ever done it seriously. And then I was like, I'm just going to kind of dabble in that. And then I started, because I was getting so flipping bored working from home on the laptop, I was like, I cannot motivate myself. And then I was like, what can I do as a little break? And then I started being like, I'm going to make sure I practice piano every day. And instead of doing what I'd done before, I was like, I'm going to do 2 hours, and when I get home, I'll like run home from the train station, then I'll do 2 hours of the piano, then I'll have dinner, and then I'll do a bit more, and then I'll go to bed, which is never going to happen, is it? I was like, I'm going to do 10 minutes once every hour.
Okay.
And I did do that. Well, that was quite ambitious in the end. But I was like, I got into the habit of 10:30 doing 10, 15 minutes, and I just absolutely loved it.
Really?
It was like a whole new experience, because I was like, God, there's not this pressure of trying to do this. It's like, I'm just going to use this 10, 15 minutes to like just do a little bit and just get back into the habit of it, and just be a bit more mindful about it. I think I'd got into the habit of just playing mindlessly and then coming away not feeling fulfilled, whereas now I'm like, right, let's use the time. So I started doing that, and I think slowly it just kind of reminded me about what I wanted to do and what was important to me. And then
when you had them 10 minutes to do, did you ever start eating into time because you get lost in it?
All the time.
It's
yeah,
good, isn't it?
Yeah, and I loved
There's no
that.
feeling like that.
Yeah, because I remember sitting in the practice rooms during my degree, and I'd book it for 2 hours. Why did I book it for 2 hours? Because I would just clock watch, and that's so sad. I could have been really absolutely loving it and enjoying it, but because I'd said to myself, right, I've got to be here 2 hours, that was what my focus was, rather than enjoying playing a beautiful instrument.
I think that's when you know you found your why.
Yeah.
If you lose all concept of time, that's a good indicator, isn't it? To knowing what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I have it with the filmmaking sometimes. I remember when I first got into it, and I've got Final Cut, and I'm looking at sort of YouTube tutorials. I never sort of did further education, but I knew what I wanted, what I enjoyed anyway.
Yeah.
So then trying out a bit of film again later down the line, after being charged way too much for videography, and I was just thinking, what? I can do that.
Yeah.
So some great videographers as well, though. But I thought I'd give it a go for myself. So the early days of doing it, and then having to watch the YouTube video, pause it every 2 minutes and go, right, literally got to do exactly what he did, put it in there, go again. And I remember, because my partner is a teacher, and she just finished uni, just got her first school, actually. And when she'd go into this school, she'd be getting up at probably 5:30.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's like a good new first job. You got to be ready for everything.
Yeah.
So I'd go start working at maybe 9 at night PM. Then I'd be saying, I'll come to bed in a bit. And there was one time where she just went down and went to work, and I've been working all the way through, and I just couldn't believe it. It was such a weird, sort of quite trippy moment where I thought, I'm like a little gremlin in this cave, but I was just enjoying it so much. I think the shot was an eye shot. Do you know the one where you go through someone's eye and that goes into the scene? I was just really excited about that, and it worked seamlessly and beautifully. But it took me a long time to sort of get how to do it. It was a good transition, and the music video was an awesome one. It was Local Healers, if you know them.
I think I've heard that.
Hip hop duo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have they been on
it.
the podcast?
Yeah, back in the day we did do one. Yeah,
I think I
did loads of work with them. But I really like to put in my effort and time with their stuff, because they put so much into what they're doing. You feel, if I'm going to make a video for you, I want it to be as to match what your energy is to your art. So I put in a lot of time for them, and it was just a funny moment. I do it on the treadmill a lot. I start writing now. Not editing, but I write my poetry. And again, I'm an hour in, and I think, double whammy.
That's so. I try and write like lyrics when I'm out. Do you write them or do you speak them?
Bit of both. Do you know if I've got a cool hook?
Yeah.
I'll try and, because I forget how I did it before. So I sing the hook sometimes.
Have you got a million voice notes on your phone?
Yeah, all misplaced and all dead cringy now when I go back to it. I'm like, what did I do that for?
I know, but there's a gem in there.
Yeah, always a gem.
Just sifting through the weeds.
But mainly, writing stuff. Typing is my writing now.
Nice.
The writing process came from when I wanted to remember it. So I'd type it all out. But then when I thought, this is the article now, this is the finished piece, then I get the pen and paper and write it all down. So I'm going back through it, and it sort of sticks in then. Do you know that poem that you said you'd watched before, Life's Beautiful Game? Like 10 minutes. I used to perform that a lot. But that took me ages to sort of
Memorised
get. But it was, I wrote it down and then put it to a side and then wrote it down again. And I just kept writing it all the time until it sunk in and I not forget it.
That's how I memorise stuff.
Really?
And I don't know if it's because, you know, this is going back many, many years, but if I heard a song I liked or I had the CD and the lyrics weren't in the little book, I'd be sat there writing it out, pausing it.
Yeah.
Probably got it wrong most of the time.
I love that.
I know.
Have you seen Peter Kay do a sketch on that?
No.
It's where he plays all these famous songs.
Yeah.
And then sings all the wrong lyrics to them. What he thought they were for years of his life.
It's just nonsense, isn't it? That makes a big difference to me. Like when I go out and do gigs where it's like covers, my notebook is all handwritten of the lyrics. I don't know if it's because your brain just like orders it in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I suppose brains act differently, don't they? But ours, where we've been polar before in that side, look, there's our connection, there's our crossover.
Yeah.
We're like a wave, me and you.
Yes, we are. But then we pull away again because I love to like kind of free write and I handwrite rather than type.
No, I still do that.
Oh, okay.
Love a free write.
Oh, love a free write.
Did you learn that in uni?
No,
Really?
I think it goes back to maybe when I used to have a diary.
But yeah, makes sense.
And just being like, school was rubbish, or I'm so annoyed, which it sounds really like silly and trivial, but it did help me a lot.
Meditative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I learnt free writing later down the line, but then I realised, I used to free write just not knowingly.
Yeah,
I had a breakup one time and I literally, the mental jargon that just fell onto the page and I wouldn't stop. And then suddenly, as it started off as this very sort of aggressive or just not what I really wanted to say piece, and then all the truth started coming out and I got to rationalise it a little bit better.
Yeah.
It was a really cathartic tool.
It is, isn't it?
And like 26 years of age, I go to a writer's workshop and they're like, here, we're going to do this thing today. I'm like,
I've been doing it.
I knew that.
Yeah, because I didn't know that's what it was called either.
It's a great tool for artists. I listen to quite a few interviews with people now, and I'm, the old BBC introducing.
Yeah.
And I must be at least more than 50% of the time, the artists that are chatting all use that as a bit of a tool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
It is really good. And I like the fact that you can't erase it. You can cross it out.
Yeah.
But like if you were doing it on a computer, you could just backspace it if you hated it, but you actually can't do that on a piece of paper. Yeah. So you might never use it. But I like to see where it's gone.
So we've been through your shy stage.
Yeah.
Then we went through your in music at university, falling out of love with it in essence a little bit. Then we went through the lull.
Yeah.
And you started implementing things back.
Yeah.
And music back into your life.
Yeah.
Are you on the stage now where it's sort of back in full flow? You're really excited about it. Lots of opportunities coming your way. Where's the now stage with music? We've had a nice journey with it.
We have had a nice journey. I think so. I do feel really good in myself about it because now it doesn't matter. I say this, some days it's harder than others, but it's almost enough for me to know that I tried, like I'm trying.
Yeah.
Even, I don't think they're going to ask me to play main stage Glastonbury this year.
Imagine.
But it's enough for me to have just done something like putting out singles, even just posting like a picture about it on Instagram or I'm trying to do TikTok now.
I really struggle with it.
It's so hard. I want to be so funny, but I can't create the funny stuff. I'm using the cats quite a lot to like.
I think you're a very funny character on your Instagrams and stuff. I like how you come across, but yeah, TikTok. Is it a bit contrived, or can you be very creative within it?
I think you can be really creative, but you have to be quite clever about it. Although, so I actually went to it wasn't solely on TikTok, but do you know Music in Nottingham?
Yeah.
So I went to one of their workshops, and Sam did like a bit on TikTok, and just made it sound so easy. And he was like, "You could do this," and I was like, "Yeah." I haven't done anything, but I think you just have to be bold and like just do it and just churn it out, and something will.
Because I've scrolled down it before.
Yeah.
And it was just everyone doing the same dance or the same
Oh no,
thing.
it's got better. It's actually
Really.
I was crying with laughter at TikTok recently.
Really?
Yeah, it gets good. You just have to.
I don't think I'm going in.
No,
I'm not diving in it.
You've got to.
I can't. I honestly, the way my time is at the minute, and how I spend a little bit here for Facebook, a little bit for Instagram, I can't really go anymore on my phone.
No.
It's too outside my mental capacity to actually go into it, where trying to conduct a business. To be really truthful for this conversation, my music side of things, yes, I'm falling in Leeds tonight, but I'm not desperate for that to accelerate in any direction. I just really got to that stage where I love it. I really enjoy it, and if the right opportunity comes along, I'll say yes to it, but I'm not diving in open mics anymore. I'm not diving for any stage performance, but if something does ever happen, I'm more than willing to think about if it's the right thing. But for that, I've just changed so much about how I'd conduct my time, and obviously for my family and stuff. I feel I've just found the right balance in everything.
Teach me.
I feel good.
Teach me your ways.
No, it's a long journey.
Oh,
it's a really long journey. But you just have to utilise and have certain rules, don't you, with social media?
What are your rules?
My rule now, this is 100% true. I call it the post and ghost. And I don't think this is good advice for artists that are really desperate to make it, quote unquote, whatever that means to you at the minute. But for me, I did that tenacious diving into every opportunity. I performed all over the country a lot. I didn't have a partner at the time though, so I was running around just being reckless, meeting people, networking. I'd probably spent a good 1.5, 2 years all over doing that and making the connections and putting stuff out all the time and responding to stuff and meeting people and doing all that. And I think there's an element of that that's brilliant. But where I've become now in my business, in my artistry, and who I am as a person, it doesn't feed my soul that way anymore. So for where I've got myself towards, which isn't a household name, but just where I was happy with it to be. And from that, when it first started, do you know when Facebook was good?
Oh, yeah.
I was getting like 30,000, 40,000. I was like, Dad, look at
that.
imagine the stadium. Now views are a little bit arbitrary, aren't they? And you don't know what's real, what's not, and who the right people are. So for genuinely where I'm at now, the post and ghost, leave it, let it do its thing and bugger off and live your life. It really makes me a happier person. I feel so much more present, a better dad, a better partner. All of my life has benefited from doing that. But I do think there's a discussion to be had for people that want to make it. You might miss opportunities. You might have to spend a bit more time on the phone and think about how to operate it. So I understand why things like music exist and why they help people where they're at and where they want to be. But for me, if I was doing a workshop for now times, I'd just say, listen, click, done, go, bugger off. 50 quid, please.
Oh, yeah. It is soul sucking. Social media. I'm very much in the camp of it's toxic. But unfortunately, I think it helps a lot of people climb up, doesn't it? And like you say, opportunities and stuff. But I think that's really good that you have the boundaries. Yeah,
I think that's an important element of it. Set yourself some timings, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea. To be on it and then know.
Yeah, I think I've got a daughter. And if I was seeing it was really making her struggle because she was thinking about posting the right content?
Yeah.
Have I made myself look? When should I be on it? It would be, let's put some restrictions on it. Let's put a little bit of an idea towards it and treat it as a business. You know, you always have a business plan.
Yeah.
We need to go here, here, and here. So same with your social medias. Conduct it in that way where you need a bit of regime and rules with it.
That's really useful, thank you. Yeah,
That's all
I
right.
agree
Give
with
it
you.
a go. And then when you get to the certain level where you feel you're at where your artistry wanted to be all along, do the post and ghost.
Yeah,
I promise you, there's no
I can't
better.
wait for the post and ghost. Yeah.
I feel lucky because I've not got, I call it fuck you money. I've not got that.
What's fuck you
money means when people, and I know a few of them, but let's even talk of Rogan-esque standard. They don't care, really.
Right?
They are living in a great way.
Yeah.
And they don't have to think about, is my daughter eating tonight?
Yeah.
Is this gonna happen? Can I get by?
Yeah.
They're cool. They're on it.
Yeah.
So how they conduct themselves isn't based on a fearful premise.
Yeah.
They just conduct themselves. But I'm on a bit of a better scape now where I do videography, I do music, I've got the buses.
Yeah.
I'm spinning different plates and I've got a bit more consistency in my life.
Yeah.
So it's not fuck you money, but I'm on a bit of a better plain sailing than where I have been before, where literally you're going through Sainsbury's and you're substituting things.
Yeah.
Can I eat that? No, I can't have that, so I've got to have that.
Yeah.
As a musician, you know how it gets. It's just good to stabilise yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can
For
build
sure.
from there.
Yeah. That's the toss-up I've always had as well, I think. Feeling like I just can't afford to throw everything into it. So I've always felt like, oh no, I've got to have a sensible job and stuff like that. And in some ways I regret that, but in other ways I'm like, actually, maybe that's just what I needed to do so that I can do a bit more of it now, maybe. I don't know.
We're in new times. So these conversations are so integral and important because, you know, not long ago, we didn't have any of these devices. We didn't know what an internet was, really. I think in my lifetime, when it used to go...
The dial-up. Get off the phone.
You're like, what's the internet doing?
Yeah.
Well, these are so recent. So even all these peculiar and new opportunities and jobs that have come up...
Yeah.
And with social media, how do you conduct it? It is all brand new to us. So we don't need to beat ourselves up at any point that we're not doing it, quote unquote, right.
Yeah.
Because there is no right and wrong way at the moment. You've just got to be really self-reflective.
Yeah.
And know how it's making you genuinely feel.
Yeah.
And the thing for TikTok for me at the time was it made me feel icky when I was a part of it. It didn't make me feel...
Didn't make it feel good.
Comfortable. And I was thinking, oh, how can I be seen? And that's never a good thing for me.
Yeah.
I also, I got a job. Do you know Cal the... I shouldn't... Do I say that? Yeah, come on. Cal the Dragon. So I think he's got like 3 million followers on TikTok or something.
Every person you've said today, I'm like, no.
It's one I didn't really expect you to know necessarily, but he got really known in the football world.
Oh, right, okay.
And you got all these England internationals sort of talking about him, and I think not in a nice way, but you know, it's a laugh, quote unquote. So the football team that I used to play for, until did my knee in, old ACL, gone.
Oh no!
But I ended up they bought him to play for the team, to the club, and this kid literally went for the first training session. I'm turning up with my gimbal, getting it all ready, and one person put one picture on, and hundreds of people just swarmed to the park to see him, catch a glimpse of him, this kid. And the problem is, how do I say this? It's not a talent. In fact, it's the opposite of that. And what I felt I was involved in was a bit of a bullying campaign. It looked like. So I got out very quickly because I said, no, this isn't my nature.
Yeah.
And I just felt it was so ugly, but that's what gets the views, that will get the followers. It was this being a mockerizing yourself and just putting shit out in there when there's no thought to it. There wasn't really any substance for me. There wasn't much skill involved, but that's what young people were desperate for. And I was having these conversations with all the kids I was working with, like, "Sir, are you working with Cow to Drag? Oh my god, sir." Look. And I'm like, okay, cool, you like that, but what is it you like? It's like, oh, he's famous, innit? I'm like, yeah, but what? So your ambition is to be famous. You just want to be seen for doing what? For what? And that, for me, is what TikTok, at the time when I've seen it, represents. And maybe I've just seen the wrong side of it, but it made me feel very uncomfortable.
I know
when
what
I was
you
seeing
mean.
it. Whereas when somebody's got a YouTube channel or an Instagram page or something, and they're really, I know the process of sitting in, writing it out, scribbling it away, going again, and putting something out. It just feels cleaner. It just feels like, oh, that's real. Makes sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. I know what you mean about the whole influencer thing. I guess is what I took from what you were talking about. And this idea of being famous for being famous, but it's like, but what?
Just be seen.
Yeah, but then if your value is purely to be seen, what happens
do
if
messy shit to get noticed?
Yeah, and like if everything is about purely looking, what meaning do you really have in life? I don't know. Maybe that's a really harsh thing to say, but does that give you purpose just to be seen? Seen doing what?
It's very exterior. It's not like working on the inner workings. And maybe we can say what we're saying makes a lot of sense, because look at the depression rates at the minute, look at the suicide rates, look at that. It's not a coincidence that it was sort of teetering and going in a certain way. I've seen a lot of podcasts on this, and then suddenly bop spike in both men and women, bop, at the exact age that social media comes in to play. So I'm not to say there's a right and wrong, but to see how we are conducting it, there needs to be questions asked, and there needs to be a bit of a thought behind it of maybe we need to have better conversations surrounding it, and which I think we're having now.
We are. Yeah.
Me ranting, I'm so sorry.
No, it's me. I'm egging you on.
Yeah, you are. Look what you did to me. But okay, so we've had a bit of a chat around the social media thing, and hopefully you got some ideas to take away with you
have.
when you
Boundaries.
ask for it. But set your rules, post and ghost. But if you have an ideal existence from here onwards in the music industry, do you know what that looks like? Would you be performing every weekend, in the week sometimes?
I think I should have a vision, and I thought I did, but actually it's a bit hazy. I just want to be doing meaningful performances.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily enjoy it if it's like something where I don't really care about it, which I think I can probably say I've not done any of those. I want to make an impact, I guess. And
good word.
Yeah, and I think that means for myself, but also is in people listening. Like, I think a lot of what I personally get out of music is empathy and like a place to kind of draw out emotions, or just like a place to go. And I want my music to do that.
Great spaces for that.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
And so I think by doing meaningful performances, that it doesn't really matter how often it is. I'd love it if it was like that was my only job and I did that. I got paid £10,000 per gig.
Nice.
Maybe more, actually.
Yeah,
it's not that much, is it?
No, not if you're dragging in the crowd.
No, exactly. No, I have no idea. But I'd love it if that was the majority of what I did with my time, as in like my music and writing it, putting it out there, performing. Recently I think I've realised more about just it being more meaningful and impactful rather than having to, I don't know, I'm just rambling on now.
Please do. This is podcast.
It's podcast.
It's what you're supposed to do.
I think I've said before, maybe if you love doing it and you believe in it, that's success in itself to me.
That's what it is to me. Yeah. Defining your version of success. And my favourite band, Fat Freddy's Drop. Okay. They're a New Zealand band.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw them in New Zealand
nice.
as well as Nottingham. 9-piece, but
Wow.
that sort of band where you listen to it and go, what's that?
Yeah.
So I had to type it up once, and there was 14 different genres.
Wow.
And that's a good band to me. That's where you go, get a bit of everything there.
Yeah.
Good band, but the first album, absolutely incredible. But because they're so diverse and like to change it up, album 2 just not me at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, completely not. And it was so strange for me. And I'd been to see them in Nottingham 5-6 years ago. Went to see them again, and I was so gutted because they were doing all this new stuff that just absolutely didn't.
No.
I can say the word vibe.
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue.
Didn't vibe whatsoever. So that was hard to deal with. But one of my favourite songs from them is "Do It for the Love of Music," and it's just a vibe, and you're bouncing in.
Yeah.
And that message really, genuinely rung through to me when I heard that song. For a while, it was this pursuit of being seen and getting out to places and X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But hearing them sing that and the lyricism within it, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It made me reflect, and I goes, oh my God, I've stopped loving it. I stopped that first moment that I picked up the pen, where it was a cathartic tool to talk about something tragic, get out there, express it, feel like I'm doing something good. It was just doing it for the sake of it then. So, I went back to the drawing board and just reevaluated everything.
Yeah.
Okay, if I go and perform, it's because I want to go and express something.
Yeah.
If I don't have anything particularly desperate to express, then I'm not going to go to them certain places. And same with my writing process. It all just turned back around to, I just love this. I really, really enjoy it. And that's so beneficial in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think it sounds like controversial, but I think putting those almost like boundaries in place, do you find then it's actually really freeing? Because when you do come to do it,
you're just doing it for the right reason at every moment.
Yeah, and I find I'm so much more just exploring it and just having fun with it and like just playing around with whatever I'm doing rather than thinking, right, I've got to do this for that.
Yeah, because then, like you said, within this podcast, you put yourself in them uncomfortable situations that you don't really want to be in when you're at an open mic and you force yourself there, and all you're feeling is this, wish I wasn't here. Resentment.
Yeah.
And suddenly that builds up and builds up because you've not been thoughtful about your environment. But then, the more you are reflective and know who you are and what you want out of it, you get to be selective in them environments and how you're doing it. And I think it's important sometimes to just live life a little. If you're a lyricist and an artist and whatever, I was forcing myself to write so much. I'd given myself, I am a poet, I am a writer. So all the time would I be writing, but then I had nothing to write about because I wasn't living life. I wasn't with people and going to parties and doing cool things or whatever that, traveling, what that consisted of, because I was just always forcing it. So I went back to living life again, having a hiatus, and guess what? When it come back round to that moment of what I love to do, so much more to document.
Yeah, you had something to say about it, or you felt a certain way.
Yeah.
I think that's so true.
I think we should collaborate at some point.
Yes, please, because I actually hate writing lyrics. I find
Really?
it so hard. So hard.
Oh, I'm surprised by that.
Help me.
What do you struggle with?
I think it's because it's this thing. I've got a weird complex about worrying about what people think. I worry so much because music is a bit more subjective, perhaps, whereas language can be very direct, and I worry that people will take things really literally, and so I try to be really clever.
I get ya.
Or I'm just so worried about things being too close to the bone. I'm like, oh no, I should like haze that up a bit. And sometimes it works, but a lot of the time I find it really hard.
I'm going to lose people here.
Yeah, or just I think the words don't go with the music, like they sound a bit clunky compared to what the music is. I just find it really hard.
That's really interesting what you said. Yeah, because I don't do the musical side, and I just find beats or lo-fi sounds that I really enjoy, and then start the writing then.
Really? So that's what you do first?
Well, really, it was always just a cappella. So I just write as a free write, what was going on in my head, thoughts, go back through the editing process, and then because I know myself, I've said what I believe in, and thus that's it. That's what you're getting. If you don't like it, you can do one. If you do, thank you. I love you too. And that was always me. And then bringing in the musicality was quite a long and a harder process because I've got no musical background at all. Honestly, as soon as my rapping mates would come, put a beat on, really sort of rappy as well, I'd just go American. I just didn't know how music works and how to fit it in. So it took so long to try and... I've got a really good friend who's coming with me tonight for the performance, who's a jazz pianist as well.
Wow.
But that's what just works then, because I get to talk how I would, and we work around one another, and I enjoy the playfulness of that. Yeah. And not the rigidness of, now I'm written on the beat of the button. And it's just a process that I've enjoyed, so I've kept on doing it. Yeah. And suddenly you find your sound within it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like
you could help me in that regard, the more musical element, and I can talk lyrics and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think you're so right about you find your thing, because also again, in a lot of musical training, not all of it, but certainly like Western classical, if you like, I think it's taught via like a structure of rules, and then it's very easy to become like, that's right and that's wrong. But no, it's not that at all. Like, if you want to do music in that way, you don't have to follow that rules. I think sometimes it's helpful to learn in one system because it just gives you like a bit of a starting point. But there's so many times when people are like, oh, I played the wrong note, and I'm like, no, it's your thing.
I mean, it's not even just within music, is it?
That's true.
Not to take us all the way back to education, but really, it is. Here's a question. What's the answer? Yeah. The majority of the time, it's not what do you think about it, and thinking in this sort of lateral way. It's the quickest response to find the answer. And when you keep getting no, suddenly you shut up and you think, I always get it wrong.
Or you might get, yes, you're amazing, you're right all the time. That's and
and it's just this very quick route. A friend of mine's got a book called The Book of Thunks. It's awesome, but it's philosophy for children. Okay. And again, it's got a beautiful anecdote at the start of why he created the book, which is probably 6 or 7 pages long, and then the rest of it's all these wonderful questions. But the questions being, what colour's Tuesday?
What colour is Tuesday for you?
Orange.
It's brown for me.
Right, okay, close colours.
Actually, yeah.
But that's it. That's everyone in the room having a different answer, but everyone being valid.
Yeah.
And all the answers are about that journey of why you got there and who you are again. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Rather than this right and wrong attitude, and then suddenly you build an identity on I'm always right or I'm always wrong.
Oh, it's so interesting. So bringing it back to music in that kind of sense. So with my current job, one of my favourite things I get to do is organise, like, they're called social impact music making projects, which sounds a bit waffly. It's essentially, the one that I lead on is working with people with lived experience of homelessness, and also people in recovery from substance abuse and all the mental health stuff that brings. And we do like workshops where it's basically songwriting, but we're doing it as a band and as a group, and it's led by Singer-songwriter. I've probably really butchered her name, but she's the most amazing musician. Her company Metamorphonics is incredible, and she does this work everywhere, all over the world. And so we come together as a group, don't really know everybody, and we start with nothing, and then the whole process is about, it's absolutely fascinating. People just say ideas, and even those people that come into the room and they're really quite self-conscious and just, I really get nervous doing this project because I'm afraid to have a go, but everyone kind of contributes something, and there's no judgment whatsoever, and a lot of that is down to Sig's leadership. Like, she's incredible. It just, everything gets taken in, might not get used in the final product, but like you were saying about the process of how you get there, and then by the end of it, everyone has got like a vested interest in this thing that we've all created together, and you become like, I don't know. Yeah,
I love everything about it. I think it is just finding a moment where you know who you are in that room.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just finding that freedom within it as well. You get through to this stage where you go, oh, everyone else is being completely authentically them. Do you know what? I'm just going to get on board that.
Yeah, I think it's...
I struggle to keep trying to be a bit of you and a bit of you. It just isn't fitting me anymore. And being in them environments as much as possible, suddenly you get to that stage where it's like, this is exhausting trying to be anything other than what I am.
That is so true. And I love watching Sig work, because she just, I don't know how she manages to divide up her time and just give everyone like an equal platform. But like, someone will just kind of be humming quietly how they think that, like, she'll just ask, how should this melody go? And someone will do something and she's like, oh yeah, and repeats it back, and she's like, oh, can you do it again? I got it wrong. And I think
you're gonna have to link us up, mate.
Oh,
I'd love to.
She's amazing.
Have a chatteroo.
Yeah,
I like amazing people. I met one today.
Oh, thanks. No, likewise.
That probably we were gonna have at the start with the percentage.
Yeah, how are we doing?
We're in red. We're
okay.
We're right into the red. And now my phone's gone. Go on, Mikey. What a conclusion. It's all kicking off now, people.
I know.
I love a little bit of crazy chaos though. We're nearly 2 hours in.
Oh God, sorry.
It's been amazing. Have you enjoyed it?
I've loved it so much.
Would you fancy coming back?
Yes, please.
I love this. Thank you so much, Philippa. Let everyone know on this camera here, where can they find out everything they need to know about you? I just take this call.
So on Instagram, I'm Philippa Steel Music. I'm also on TikTok as Philippa Steel Music, but you won't find anything good on there. I do have a website, psteelmusic.co.uk. But Instagram, I think, is the place to go for me at the moment. I know, wow.
Your Post and Ghost, you still use
Post
it.
and Ghost.
Skadoodle.
Just throw that phone on the sofa and walk away.
Thank you so much for today. I've really enjoyed it. You're a lovely character.
Thank you so much for reaching out and just inviting me. I feel so honoured to be here.
You've got a great soul.
Oh, you too.
Guys, thank you for being a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back at the Bus Sessions podcast. I will leave you on this, and I always do. Just be nice to one another, you beautiful set of buggers. See you later. Thank you.